Okay, I'm back with part two of, which witnesses the defense should call, for what reason, my version. It's just my opinion. Here, I'm just giving some examples of some possible strategy. If you want the strategy to be third-party culprit, and again, as much as I love this, as much as I want Higgins and Brian Albert to go down in a big fucking ball of flames, my bigger concern is rescuing Karen. We gotta prove Karen is innocent, but that's just me. If you wanted to call, if you still wanted to chase that third party culprit thing, here's who you could call. So first you call Matthew Kelch. He is, I think FBI, he's some federal agent, and he knows Higgins, and he helped Higgins extract the text messages that Higgins exchanged with Karen. Higgins managed to pull only those text messages out of his phone and give them over to Proctor before his phone took a deep dive in a military dumpster. Imagine that. There's a couple of guys by the name of Ridge and Hernandez. These guys are Boston PD. They know Brian Albert a little too well, and they can attest to, his temper, his behavior, and oh, by the way, he punches people. He just does. There are the Beatties. So Tom Beattie, his daughter Erin, both received phone calls. Erin got a phone call from Colin Albert, and Tom got repeated calls from Jen McCabe. Maybe others as well, I do not know. It's my understanding that the Beatties want nothing to do with the McAlberts. And so this would be very interesting testimony to hear what the Beatties have to say. There's also two people on the list that claim to have been previously bitten or attacked by Chloe. So if you needed people to step in and be like, yeah, that dog was fucking violent, why didn't they do something sooner? These people would be your best bet. Now I've got the fifth bucket just labeled piece of shit. And by that, I mean Michael Proctor. At this point, I don't even think you need to call him, because there's been so many other creative ways you've managed to get the goods on this guy. Anyway, I think the jury already knows he's a disgraced former cop. He was the lead investigator, and he drove this investigation all the way into the ground. But in case you feel like you want some extra ammo, you could call his wife or his sister to at least testify to the relationship between the Proctors and the Alberts and how tight they all are. And I don't know, the jury's probably already picked up on it, but just in case you want to do this. But there's also a guy on the list that's one of his friends. I don't think it was a coworker. I think it might be one of those high school buddies that was also involved in the text messaging. So I feel like you can do a lot of damage to Proctor by not even calling Proctor. You could call his family and friends and have them all get up there and go, yeah, he's a fucking piece of shit. And you bury him without even him having to even be able to defend himself. There is a bucket that I'm just going to tentatively title the FWY bucket. Stands for fuck with you. Like, these are the people you call. Like, you call any of the McCabes, you call any of the Alberts, you call Carrie Roberts, you call Tristan Morris, you call John O'Keefe's dad, just because we want to fuck with you. And I'm going to go ahead and call Nicole Albert because I want to fuck with you. Yeah, I just do. I'm not sure. Again, this brings the drama, this brings the thrill, this brings all the lying and the corruption and the idiocy forward. But if you can do the better part and prove that there was no car strike, then you probably don't need any of this. Unless you just want to personally make all of them look bad, which is really easy to do. You could do that if you wanted to. The final bucket I kind of have as the life in Canton bucket. This is a whole bunch of people that are I think some of them are sort of random. Like, it's the woman who manages CF McCarthy's. It's the one neighbor that on 34 Fairview that's not a cop. It's Nick. There's Nick and Karina Kolakithis is how I think you pronounce their name. They are friends with Karen and John, and from what I understand, still very much support Karen and don't think that she would harm John. That's the last I heard. There's another family called the Curran family. There's 3 members of that family that I'm not sure what they would testify to. The one I most want to see, like, if you're going to call any of the people from Canton, the ones I would love to see, because I really never felt like they had a voice against the law enforcement in Canton, was the LaPilato brothers, Mark and Alfredo. They had a run-in with Chris Albert years ago. 20-something years ago, before Chris and Julie were even married, Chris Albert got into a tussle with one of the LaPilato brothers at one of the bars. And Lapalato got thrown out of the bar. And guess what? He went home and got his brother and a few friends, and they came back to fucking get Chris Albert. So luckily, Officer Lank was at the bar. He was off duty. He'd had a few too many beers, and he's out in the parking lot. And Chris comes up and he's like, dude, need you to tag in. The Lapalatos are coming after me and they're ready to rumble. And so Lank goes, I got this, my man, because I'm the fucking Albert family fixer. And so there's a whole big story about how Lank attacks one of the Lapalatos and spits in the face of the other Lapalato. And the Lapalatos tried to file police reports and complaints, and they ended up getting arrested and charged with assaulting a police officer. And it was this whole big thing. And eventually the Lapalatos ended up suing Canton and naming 3 police officers. And I think Chris was named in the lawsuit too. It has nothing to do with anything in the Karen Read case, but I just want to fucking give them their day in court. With this witness list, you could do some serious damage. You could show once and for all, very unequivocally, how absolutely corrupt the Canton PD is, the Massachusetts State Police, all the way up to the district attorney's office. You could bury a lot of people with this if that's your intent. So, I mean, if that's what Alan Jackson does. I mean, Alan Jackson doesn't just want to prove Karen Read innocent. If he just wants to burn the whole fucking place down, this is the witness list that could probably do it. Let's see how it goes.